T.A.G, very nice, very evil.
Yeah, that's T.A.G shit.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama, I don't really.
What up, T.A.G Nation? It's your boy Scoot. This is NXT.A.G, and let's get right into it. As you can see on the screen, the show opens up with a grudge match, safe to say, between Jada Parker and Lash Legend. Now, this match has been brewing for a few weeks, and it finally came to head today, and it was a pretty solid match considering this is kind of one of those we really don't have nothing per se, because Lola won the number one contendership. Soul is involved in some other things. So as far as champion goes, it's kind of like these women are kind of just floating about until after No Mercy. But, which to be honest with you, I thought they would have called Lash up, but I don't know. But pretty solid match. Actually, this could have been a PLE worthy match, even if it wasn't for a championship. Just the fact that these two women went out there and had them a match. Ultimately, Lash hit the last extension on the announce table, rolled her in the ring, hit it again. 1, 2, 3. Lash Legend wins. And while she was talking her trash, Jada did eventually recover and started beating up on Lash, and then ended up hitting the hypnotic through the barricade to kind of get the last laugh. So this ain't over. Even though Lash got the dub, Jada did get the last laugh. So this ain't gonna be over. The bougie bully ain't gonna just let that happen and just go on about her business. But the next segment of the show, you had Blake Monroe back there talking to Ariana Grace, and they was pretty much kind of having equal footing, and Ariana was like, hey, don't worry, me and Jordan are not even related. I know we have the last name, but we're not related. And of course Blake was like, oh, thank God. So Jordan comes busting through the door, and from that she kind of pushes Callie Armstrong out the way, and Callie goes, look, this is the second time you have done me an injustice. 2 months ago when I was on NXT TV, you came in and interrupted my match. Now you're gonna just push by me, and pretty much that led into a match. I mean, yeah, that led into a match that was gonna happen later on, and I'll bring that up. And then we get a next segment of Javon Evans. First time he's been seen since I just totally forgot the name of the pay-per-view. Literally just that fast, I forgot the name of the last PLE. Heatwave. This is the last time he's been seen. First time he's been seen since Heatwave, and pretty much he's just coming out there expressing how disappointed he was he didn't win, and how he was promising the fans, he was promising his little sister that he was going to go out and become the youngest champion. Heatwave felt different. He felt that he was going to win. Ultimately, he came up short. And then we see a man on a motorcycle, and Javon was like, okay, whatever. Then we see the man getting off the motorcycle, and then the Undertaker's music hits, and out comes Josh Briggs. And Josh Briggs was like, oh, y'all thought Taker was going to come out here? Come on now. Come on. You think Taker was going to come out here again and try to encourage Javon? And pretty much, Briggs was trying to little bro Javon. He was like, you being too soft. You should have took that L, got up and re-challenged Oba again. But now you didn't let Ricky take your spot and all of these things. And you know, Javon was like, Briggs, move around. I'm not trying to hear all this. And then eventually we let the Briggs just beat the shit out of Javon. He hit him with a mean big boot to the face. And you know, got some extra licks in. I mean, it was a mean boot to the face. But you know, that's how it goes in the world of NXT. Then we get a segment of Over, Ricky, Hank, and Tank in the back. You know, they're gearing up for the main event. You know, they're all trying to get on the same page. At No Mercy, we are going to get Ricky taking on Over for the NXT Championship. And Hank and Tank was like, you know, maybe if we get the dub, you know, we may get our rematch against Dark State for the tag team championships. And they pretty much was like, don't worry, we're going to be on the same page because, you know, we all got a Dark State problem, you know. Then we get to the first match of the Speed tournament. We get Candice LeRae coming back home to NXT, taking on TNA Zaya Brookside. And this was my first time ever watching a Speed match because it was exclusively on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So now that it's on NXT TV and getting a chance to see it, I can see the excitement of how this can go because you got 3 minutes to win. And effectively, they was even saying if the time would have expired, then pretty much neither one of these women would have won. But you got 3 minutes to win. And I think they said the championship match is 5 minutes. And even with the graphics and everything, they was letting it be known that, you know, how much time because, you know, like the graphics were showing, like, you know, when it got like a minute left, everything's kind of red in the arena, like, kind of like, oh, hurry up. And then, you know, they keep a timer on the Titantron, and then, you know, for TV, they keep a timer on the lower of the screen as well. And I can see the excitement behind it. If it's done right, I can see it being a good thing for NXT. But ultimately, with about 20-something seconds left, Candice LeRae pulled out the dub. So she will be taking on the winner of Fabi Apache and Lainey Reed, which will be happening next week. But yeah, it was a pretty, you know, little cool little segment there, because I want to say the Speed Championship has been around now almost 2 years, and I think the Women's Speed Championship, I think it's almost a year, give or take. So at least it's being shown now rather than, you know, having to watch it on Twitter. So yay to that. And then the next segment we do get, it was Josh Briggs basically going back in the locker room punking people. And then you had Uriah and Kale was like, hey, yo, say, fam, you over here tripping. You over here just being mad, just disrespectful. And then he was pretty much saying that he was going to beat up them two, Josh Briggs. And then Andre Chase was like, Briggs, chill. And then, of course, Kale and Uriah was like, hey, Andre Chase can teach you a lesson tonight. And this, that, and the third. And later on, it's going to lead to a match between Andre Chase and Josh Briggs. Let's just, yeah. Ava has Fatal Influence, the Cullen, and Zaruka in the back. And she's pretty much saying that she was talking to Raw and SmackDown's GM, mainly SmackDown's GM in this case, that he's like, that she's basically wanting some NXT women to go for the Women's Tag Championship. So next week, it will be a triple threat elimination match. We don't know which two members of Fatal Influence, but most likely, I'm assuming Fallon and Jasmine are going to take on Izzy and Tatum and Zarya and Soruka, and the winner, of course, will get a shot against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Yeah. I think we know how that match is going to go. Unless there's some shenanigans and some chicanery. I don't see Charlotte and Alexa losing to an NXT tag team. I know that sounds wrong. And it may sound mean, but come on. Come on. It's Charlotte Flair. Then we get a Dark State segment, sort of like with the Oba, Hank and Tank, and Ricky. And pretty much the promo we got, the way Dark State is being booked is good and bad at the same time, because the promo they gave tonight should have been a promo they gave a while ago. Because they was pretty much talking about how we were the ones that was unwanted. We were the ones that, nobody cared about because Cutler James was cut from LFG by Bubba Ray. Osiris was cut by the New Orleans Saints. Saquon had to wait over 6 years to get into the WWE. And Deion Lennox was getting punked around and basically showing that he wasn't championship material. But as we can see, he has a championship. So obviously he's championship material and things of that nature. And granted, I get it that the Deion Lennox part, because now that they're champions, but the nucleus of the segment was like, shouldn't this have been used a while ago? Because now that would have gave more reasons to why y'all so upset and angry, and it's us against the world. But okay, but pretty much they're gonna win tonight. That's pretty much what they're saying. That they're gonna get the dub, and they're gonna keep showing why, when Dark State strikes, no one's safe. Trick Willie has a segment, and he's pretty much saying that when I came out here and said he was the greatest NXT superstar, nobody came out, past, present, future. So pretty much he's uttering the same sentiment. And then we get the music of DIY, legendary NXT superstars Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano comes out. And, they were spitting bars towards Trick. Trick was spitting bars towards them. Ultimately, it led to DIY getting the upper hand on Trick. I mean, it was 2-on-1. And later on, when Trick was leaving, I don't know if in essence he was challenging them to a tag team match and he was going to find a partner, or he was going to just call DIY out again and get his comeuppance on them. Like, it was never really fully understood when Trick was like, he got something for them type of energy. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Then we get Tavion and Ethan. Geez, there's a lot of segments back to back. My goodness. Then we get Tavion and Ethan in the back. They're yelling at each other. And ultimately, next week is going to be a flag match. USA versus Canada. And Tavion is like, I'm going to make you respect USA. Now, I'm going to assume, since Ethan and Chelsea won the mixed tag match, probably Tavion is going to win the flag match. Then we're finally going to get a North American title match at No Mercy. I'm going to assume that's the way it's going to go. Because I can't see Tavion and Essence losing 2 and then he still gets a title shot. So most likely Tavion is probably going to win this flag match next week. Then we get the Callie Armstrong, who is the current Women Evolve champion, taking on Jordan Grace. It was a match. To be honest, considering the stuff that happened after, I wish it would have kind of happened to give Callie Armstrong the W. Because Jordan hits her beast bomb, she wins. Blake Monroe comes out, they get into a scuffle. Now, I don't know, I didn't get a chance to fully see it. I just saw the after effect. But something happened to where Blake Monroe was bleeding from the mouth. And it looked kind of gnarly. And the look on her face was like, I am gonna fuck you up. Like it looked like she was channeling her inner Mariah May. I'm just saying. I'm just saying because even Vic Joseph kind of made reference about what was it that she looked like she was coming out of hell. It was something to make reference about Mariah May in essence. So it looks like the glamour. Not necessarily she's gonna shed the glamour, of course, but that look on her face was like, I am going to beat her ass. She was not the happiest camper that she was bleeding her own blood. Shout out to Ben Stiller. Then we get a Lola Vice segment, and pretty much they're kind of going through her life, and it's done in parts. This part, we got a chance to meet her mom and I think her sister. And I think she was saying the next part we were going to meet her daughter. So, it was a little vignette basically showing us more Lola Vice. So maybe she may get that belt off of JC come No Mercy if they're investing this time and energy per se in the Lola. Or maybe she's on the short list of being called up because she has been doing her thing in AAA. So maybe I don't know, but we shall see. Josh Briggs, Andre Chase. It was a solid match because they really let them go back and forth. It wasn't just a complete squash. Hell, there was even one moment where Andre Chase looked like he won. When I tell you the ref hand was coming down and Briggs kicked that, it was like, woo, that was close. Like even the crowd was kind of like, woo, type of energy. But eventually Josh Briggs does get the W. Then he beats the shit out of Uriah and Kale. I think he threw Uriah into the barricade, and I think he chokeslammed Kale through the announce table. It could be the other way around. But I want to say that's how it went. He threw Uriah into the barricade and chokeslammed Kale into the announce table. And, the man of mayhem left mayhem. Yes. Then we get to our main event. Dark State taking on the team of NXT champ Obafemi, his challenger in No Mercy, Ricky Starks, and of course them belly bandits, Hank and Tank. Once again, I'm not mad at Dark State. I'm just kind of mad at how Dark State gets booked here and there because I love the frenzy that they bring to their tag matches. I love the misdirects that they do. I love the sneaky things that they do, but it's something that they need to just hone in. Like I don't know what it is per se, but it's something that they need to do to really get them their footing. But it wasn't a bad match. It was pretty much kind of one of those can Ricky and Oba get along while they're taking out Dark State, type of deal. And for the most part, it happened. Yep, you heard me. For the most part, because towards the end, I think Oba bumped Ricky too hard or something, and then Ricky kind of returned the favor, and then boom, they was fighting. They literally started fighting. They left the match, and then it just left Hank and Tank by themselves. Now, Hank and Tank did mention that they had a card up their sleeve. They had an ace up their sleeve, but when it looked like it was over for Hank and Tank, they just kept on trucking through. And then I want to say, who was it? I think it was Cutler. I think it was Cutler who was doing something, and then I think it was Tank, and he says, I think he had him in a submission or one of them little holds, and then it led to pretty much Tank saying Joe Hendry, and then Joe Hendry's music hits. He comes out, causes a distraction, and Hank and Tank actually get the dub. Well, Hank and Tank, Oba and Ricky technically get the dub, but Hank and Tank survives a 4-on-2 situation, and First time Dark State losing a 8-man tag. So most likely that's going to lead credence to probably they're going to get their rematch at No Mercy. Now, I thought it was kind of cheesy how, Joe Hendry was kind of summoned the way he was, but I know that's the gimmick. Say his name and he appears. I get it. It was just a little cheesy. It was a little cheesy. But the show ended with them going backstage and showing Ricky and Oba still just back there beating the shit out of each other. Then eventually they got separated and boom. That was NXT. I know in 2 weeks it's going to be Homecoming when they go back to Full Sail. And then on the 27th, we have No Mercy. So pretty much we just building stories to No Mercy. Because like I said, we already had Oba versus Ricky. We already have Lola versus JC. In a couple of weeks, we're going to see who Soul defends that Speed Championship against. Most likely, Hank and Tank are going to get their rematch against Osiris and Dion. What else? Most likely, Ethan and Tavion for the North American Championship. Trying to think. Since that Speed Championship match is going to be 5 minutes, they're going to add more. I'm trying to think of I don't know if Jada and Lash may make the pay-per-view, but things can happen. Let's see. What else can I foresee happening on that show? That's pretty much it because I don't think they're going to do the women's tag match on No Mercy. So I'm pretty sure that's probably going to happen on a SmackDown. Because I wouldn't be surprised if Zaruka ends up winning. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the Cullen pulls up a sneaky W. I wouldn't be surprised if Trick gets some type of something there. Because the way it's looking like maybe he takes on him and insert name, takes on DIY. I don't know. But we are getting a proper build. But hey, NXT TV today. Whether you love it, hate it, don't forget to rate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I said it out of order, but it's fine. And make sure when you do all of that, you tag that notification bell so you'll be notified for when videos get posted. Shout out to the rest of the Tag family. Shout out to y'all, the Tag Nation. And thank y'all for tuning in. Love one another. Love yourself. Take care of one another. And take care of yourself. And until next time, you beautiful, beautiful people out there, don't forget to tag out. Peace.